Hello everyone and welcome to another how-to video. My name is Alan Draper, CTO for COP. And what we're going to look at today is how to wire up and configure a Hikvision Access Controller. So here's the controller itself. Using the keys that you get with this, just unlock the cabinet and open it up and we'll take a look on the inside. Now straight away, looking at this, in the top right hand corner there, we've got our power circuit breaker. So you put your mains power in there, so that's your negative and positive, and then you've got your earth which goes to your chassis. And then it just powers on through there through its normal circuit breaker. To the right of that is your fire alarm relay. This is where we can wire in a third-party fire alarm system into the actual access controller. So therefore, if the fire alarm is triggered, that will then drop the power to the actual controller, therefore allowing the doors to be opened freely. On the board itself, it looks quite complicated, but to be honest, you don't need to touch hardly anything on the board itself. If we look to the left-hand side, that's where our mains power is going in there, which obviously being fed from here. And then just underneath it, we've got two terminal blocks there. That is what your battery interface will go into if you want to put in a battery. So if power is lost to the system, the battery can keep the system running. Usually that battery gets installed there, wiring goes to there. And you do get the actual wires to wire that in with the box for the actual controller itself. Now, as I mentioned, it looks fairly complicated. The only other thing on the board that you probably need to touch is going to put in there is your RJ45, so it gives a network connection because we configure most of this through the network. Everything else from a wiring point of view, all it uses this terminal block down here at the bottom. So let's take a look at that in further detail. Okay, so looking at this one here, starting from the left-hand side, we've got 12 volt and ground. That's basically the negative and positive for your keypad card readers. Next to that one, if you're using the RS45 protocol, which is what's recommended, you've got your RS45 positive and RS45 negative. So basically, your keypad card readers just get wired into these four blocks here. Now, you can daisy chain the keypad card readers to also wire one onto the other, to the other, to the other, all going back to a single point on this board. Alternatively, you can just wire them all straight to this board itself if they are in close proximity. It's entirely up to yourselves. As we go along, we've got 12 volt and ground again, W0, W1. That's our weakened wiring. If you're using a third-party card reader, that can get wired into the board straight onto there. Then as we go along, we've got lock 1, positive and negative. Then we've got door magnet 1, ground, exit button 1. And then it starts again. 12 volt ground, W0, W1 for your weakened, lock 2, positive and negative, door magnetic 2, ground, exit button 2. So because it's a two-door controller, as you can see, it just goes along thus so, nice and easily. And then finally at the very end there is our fire alarm interface. So that is where you'd look in your third-party fire alarm system into there if you did have one on site which wanted to trigger them. So what we'll do, we'll take a look at just how we wire one of these up. So here is the first keypad card reader that I'm going to wire in. This is the DS-K 1108AKM, and this is the normal keypad card reader from Hikvision. So it's got my fair card reader in there, and it's also got the pin number availability, and then you get the LED lights around the outside. Red when you're denied access, green when you're allowed in. On the wire itself, we'll just take a look at the wire. So what you got on the wiring itself there, it does actually show you what colour wire is for what. If you're using Wigan wiring, or if you're going to be using the RS45, it tells you right there. And on the back there, as you can see, we've got our different wires that we need to wire in. I folded some of those back because we're not going to use those because we are using RS45, so it's these four simple wires. Now, which one is which? Well, yes, you can refer to the actual little guide that you get there. If you pay close attention here, you'll notice that they've actually conveniently coded the wires there for you. So red to red, black to black, yellow to yellow, blue to blue. Nice and simple and straightforward. So let's get this wired in. So they're wired in now. As we can see, red to 12 volt, black to the ground, yellow to RS45 positive, and the blue to our RS45 negative. So red to red, black to black, yellow to yellow, blue to blue. Nice and simple. Now, this is a two-door controller, meaning it operates two doors, got two relays in there. Now, with RS45 on a two-door controller, I can put in 4 keypad card readers because I can do read in, read out. What I'm going to do today, though, is I'm going to do read in, but then exit button out, and that's what I'm choosing to. So I've got another keypad card reader to put in, and the one I'm going to put into here now, the next one, is the 1107 AKM. Very similar to one we just saw a minute ago. Differences being this is a lot slimline, as you can see, and the LED light is towards the top there. So it has got a My Fair card reader built into it, so you can just fob your card on top of it, like you can with the previous one. But then you've also got the option for your PIN number. Now, what I'm going to do now is wire this one into the same place. So they're all wired in now. However, these are all going to the same point on the board. Yes, that's the way it can be done. Alternatively, you could choose to daisy chain the wire if you wanted to. So again, it makes it easier for an simple installation. So you can actually hook one reader into another, and into another, and to another, and daisy chain them all the way back to one single point on the board. That's one way you could do it. RS-45 wiring, they say the theoretical distance wiring, or maximum theoretical distance, is 1,200 meters, but in reality, that would be 800 meters for RS-45 wiring. So they can daisy chain quite a way along. But the question is, though, if these points here are receiving the command to say, someone's fobbed the correct fob, open the door, how does it know which door to open if it's a multi-door controller? Well, if you look at the back of one of our keypad card readers, what you do, underneath the little flap there, we have these dip switches, which we need to apply. And we need to apply these dip switches according to what number door it is. Now, on the screen currently at the minute, you can see the dip switch configuration, whether it's going to be for door 1, entrance reader 1, or entrance reader 2, exit reader 2, and so on and so on and so on. So you apply the dip switches according to what you'll see on the screen there. With these keypad card readers, you do get quick start guidebooks, which will show you the dip switch configuration as well. So do make sure you are putting those dip switches in the correct locations, because if you don't, the system won't work correctly. So the next device I'm going to add onto here now is my push to exit button. Now this one's a little bit different. It's not actually a push to exit, it's actually a no touch button. This one is the DS-K7P03. So as it says there, no touch. It's got little IR sensor in there, so all you do to open it is you wave your hand across it, and then that will actually open the door the same way as a push to exit would do. On the back, you have the wires that come out the back there. I've just extended this using a simple alarm cable. So if I look at the other end of this, where I've extended it to, we can see our various wires at the back there. And it's all dependent on what sort of wiring you're using. So we've got our red 12 volt, our black, that's our ground wire. You have your white, which is your common wire. And then we have these two, the yellow and green. It's one or the other. And this depending on how your wiring configuration or how your controller or doors are going to behave. Now I'm going to use the yellow one for today, because mine's going to be what's called NC wiring, normally closed, and that's referring to the circuit itself. So this is going to be a normally closed circuit. The idea being, once I do wave my hand across that sensor, that will then disconnect the circuit and therefore trigger the relay to actually open the door. If it's a different locking mechanism, you might be going for the NO wire, which is the green wire that we're seeing right here. So it does depend on what sort of locking mechanism you're using, whether you're using NC or NO wiring. So let's get this wired in. So as you can see there, they're now wired in. If you look at the image I'm putting on screen now for you, as you can see there, it's red to 12 volts, black to the ground. Your common white wire goes to the another ground section, as you can see there. And then the yellow one, in my case, is going to exit button 1. This is because I'm using NC wiring. If I was using NO wiring, we simply substitute the yellow for the green. So because this is a 2-door controller, I've got in 2 keypad card readers, I've got in 1 exit button, but I need to now add in a second exit button. So we're going to wire that in now into where it says exit button 2, ground, and then we've got our 12 volt and our black ground wire as well. So let's wire this one in. Okay, so they're all wired in. One of the things that I will be wiring at this point now, which I'm not going to do today, would be our mag lock. And that would simply go into these ones just here. So you got lock 1 positive, lock 1 negative. So that would be your V positive goes to lock 1 positive, V minus goes to lock 1 minus. Then you've got your door magnetic one, and then you've got your ground button, as you're seeing there on the diagram I'm putting on screen now. And that is how you'd wire up your magnetic lock. Now, in addition to that, what it is recommended to do is inside the box, you do get these little pack of resistors that come with the controller. It is recommended that when you are wiring a magnetic lock, you put one of these resistors between lock positive and lock negative on all of your locks. These resistors prevent the lock relay and prevent the relay from burning into the system as well. So it is recommended that you do put these resistors across these ones just to protect that lock. So now that's all wired in, the only final thing I really need to do now before we configure it is plug our Ethernet cable in, which just plugs into our controller, thus so. So what we'll do now, we will now go to configure the system to get it all working. Okay, so let's get to this and configure this access control system. The software I'm going to use today is HikCentral Access Control. HikCentral Access Control is a server-based piece of software. However, you can just install this on a local PC or a laptop because it's not resource heavy, because it's just for access control purposes. Good benefit of it as well is it's free for the first 4 doors. So if you're only putting a 4-door system or less, you can use this software. It's absolutely free to download from the Hikvision website. I'll pop the link in the description below. So I've installed this on my laptop now. I've gone to the local loopback address, which is the address of the laptop I'm currently on. Pop in the username and password that I've already predefined and click log in. I'll put my details in. There we go. So once I log in there, as you can see, it's just like any conventional HikCentral system. However, as it says there, it's just for access control purposes. I cannot add any IP cameras or anything like that. So yeah, access control, video intercom, them sort of things really. If I go across to the top here to them little dashes, as you can see, it's free. Click on license details. I can add up to 4 doors and 200 people for attendance if I really wanted to. So if we're going to configure some access control stuff, I'm going to go to the far top left-hand side and just click on to device. This is where I can add my access control devices into the system. So when I'm looking at my system here, if I go to the bottom for online devices, look at my local network, and it's found 2 devices on my network currently. And the one we're interested in is the top one there, DS-K 2602T. This is a 2-door controller. Hikvision do a single door controller, which is a 2601. They also do a 4-door controller, which is a 2604. This one, as you can see, is a 2-door controller. As you can see, it's inactive. So all I've got to do is tick the tick box and click the activate button to give it a password of my choice. So pop in a password of my choice, pop it in once, and pop it in twice. And click activate. So that's now pushed the password to that device. So as we can see there, that system is now showing as activated. Next thing I've got to do is change the IP address, because that obviously doesn't fit my local network. So that's a default IP address it comes with. So I just click the little edit symbol to the far right and give it an IP address that's suitable for my network. I know one that I've got available. I'm just going to use that one there. And then I'm going to put in my gateway address as well. Brilliant. Okay. And then I click the green tick. And it's now going to ask me for the password for the device to ensure that I'm essentially authorized to change details of the device. Click save. That's now done. It says operation complete along the top. And as we can see now, that IP address has now changed. So all I've got to do now is add this to my system. So I just click the little tick box there and click add to device list. And when I click add to device list, it's populated the network details for me automatically. I've just got to give this thing a name. I'm just going to call it 2-door controller. Oh, I could spell though. Okay. the password that I've just given this device. And as I go down, get the time zone for the device, or I can manually set it to whatever set my PC to, or whatever this is set to. It will push that time zone to the device. Why not? Let's do that. Add resource to area, and it's going to say all resources are specified door. Now, I do recommend you hit specified door when you do this part, because this does two things. One, it makes sure it can communicate with the controller. In other words, these details there are correct, which clearly they are, because it's popular the doors there. And secondly of all, you might want to be only putting one door in, especially if you're putting in something like with one of our modular intercom door stations. That has two relays in it. If you just did all resources, it would add both relays to the HikCentral Access Control system. Now, what if you had 4 of those, but you're only using one relay of each device? Well, the free version of the software only allows up to 4 doors, i.e. 4 relays. So you'd add in 2 modular door stations, and you will have exceeded or got to the limit of your 4-door system. So therefore, you just select the one you want to add in. In today's case, though, we are adding in both relays, both ones on that particular controller there. Next step is create an area by device name. Well, I can't add it to an existing area because there's no areas already existed yet. So we're going to create a new area by the name of the device. Next thing is asking me, do I want to default the device? So if it's a brand new one, if it's one that's already in use, should I say, and it's already got some configuration on there, when I add it to HikCentral, I can choose to actually say, yep, add it in there, but wipe all the configuration details on the device, but maintain the password and the IP address. I don't need to, because as we just saw, it was brand new, fresh out of the box. So all I got to do is just click the add button. I don't need to wipe it because it already was in default standard. So that's now added into there now. So we're going to see there's 2-door controller. There's the IP address. There's a serial number of it, the firmware version it's running, how many doors are available, how many keypad card readers are available. As I mentioned, because we're using RS-485, I can add up to 4 keypad card readers to a 2-door controller, because I can do read in and read out. Again, likewise on a 4-door controller, you can add up to 8 keypad card readers for read in and read out. Showing it's online, which is good. Password is saying it's strong password. Good to know. And then we've got this little cog button at the end. If I click on that cog, this is where I can go into some of the advanced details of the system. That's actually incorrect. So let me just change that time zone, because obviously that time is showing incorrect. Let's just sync that with the time server in our system. And as we go down, I've got some various details about the device itself. I can even click on this one that says here, configuration, and that sort of puts you under the bonnet into the controller itself. So here's where I can set the time and date things I want to, or synchronize the computer time. Might as well do it while I'm here. So I can do all these little bits and pieces from here. But to be totally honest, there's not a lot we've got to do from here, because quite frankly, what's going to happen is we're going to do most of the things through HikCentral. So there's not a great deal that I really need to do in here. Check that again. So obviously it's not pulled it through just yet since I clicked save, because obviously I changed it in there. Okay, so I've added the device in. That's all well and good. If I go to area now on the left-hand side, I can see my 2 doors that are in there now. Click on the door itself, a door 2. I can see some details about the particular door 2. I'm going to these about door 1. So let's focus on door 1 for the minute. So there's the name of the door. I could give it a different name. It could be like the entrance door, or it could be the back door or front door, whatever you want to call it, really. It's entirely up to yourself. The door contact is to remain locked. Yep, makes sense. And the exit button type says to remain unlocked, or do want to remain locked. So this does come down to how you want the system to behave, and it comes down to how you've selected that wiring. So because I'm using NC wiring for normally closed, we want that on remain locked, or what it used to say was normally closed. So we've got them both set on there. If I was using the green wire that we saw earlier on, it would be a remain unlocked. So it depends on how it's working. As we go down, it says the open duration, so it's going to open for 5 seconds. I can extend that time if I want to, or have an extended time depending on what sort of protocols I'm putting in place. Door open timeout alarm. So if again it's left open for 30 seconds, it can trigger live if we wanted to. And I can set things like duress code, and there's other various bits and pieces. So again, we can really go into some quite a lot of details on this one, depending on what you want the actual system to run as. So that's for door 1. Let me just click save on there. Go to door 2, same principle, remain locked, but I want it to remain locked on the actual exit button as well. So go down. Again, all of the details can relatively stay the same regarding what I'm doing today. Click save. So there's my 2 doors now that have been configured to how I want them to behave. Quite straightforward. Next step, person. I'm going to add people into my system. So I'm going to click the add button to add a person to this system. put their name in there. So I'll put me in here. Effective period, when is it actually going to be effective from? So the date and time. This is why it's quite important, the date and time when your controller is correct, because again, if this mismatches or it's outside that time, it won't give you access in. So I've got my details in there. To the right hand side now is where I can put in some more details or some access credentials. I could choose to upload a face picture of myself if I really wanted to. I could choose to upload it from a picture out of my PC, capture it from a device, so if I've got a face terminal that has that one, or just capture one which might be from my webcam or something of that sort of nature. Then what I can do is I can click on credential management. This is where I can add in cards, fingerprints, iris, and so forth. At the top here, it's saying for card, I can click configure and choose how am I enrolling a card into the system. Am I using a card enrollment station? I'm using an enrollment station, which is a network one, or I'm using a card reader. So I can actually use the actual door station readers themselves to actually enroll the card. So I'm saying door 1 as an example, click on save, click the add button, and then just fob that on there just to pull through, get the right fob. That's what I want to use, number 1, and fob that on there. And as you can see, that's now pulled through that card number from that fob. As I go down, it tells me what type of card is it going to be. Do I want it to be a normal card, which is just for entrance and exiting, a duress card, which will still open the door, but it will trigger an alarm to the monitoring center, which is the HikCentral, to say I'm under duress, or is it a dismiss card, which just clears any alarms that may have been triggered on that card reader. However, it's a normal card, so keep it as normal, that's fine. I'm not adding in fingerprints, I'm not using fingerprints today, nor am I using any iris recognition terminals either. So when I just click save on there, so as you can see, that one card is now assigned to me in here. At the bottom, I just click add. That's now added in there. My details are in there that I have so far. Next thing I need to do now, if I look across, is go to access control. And as you can see, I'm just following this one step along. Next one is now manage access level. So in other words, create an access level. So if I click add to create an access level, give this a name. I can call this one access both doors, because that's what I'm doing. Select my access points. So I'm going to say it's both those doors. Pop it into there. And my access schedule. So for this access level, when can these doors be used essentially? All day, which is 24/7, weekend, working day, or I can create a different schedule if I want to, but I'm going to go with 24/7. Click add. So that access level now exists. What we've got to do now is assign that access level to a person or assign a person to access level. Doesn't matter which way around we do it, just one or the other. So I'm going to go assign by access level. So I can select the access level there, click assign to, and I'll assign it to me. Obviously, if I had multiple people, I'd tick everybody that I'm assigned it to, or click select all persons. Click on add. That's now in there, and that's now assigned that access level out to that particular person, which is me in this case. And then we go down to our real-time monitoring. So if I click onto there, I can see both my doors there. So I've got door 1 and door 2. So when anything is fobbed, we can see on screen exactly what's happening. So if I go to door 1, for example, go onto there, as you can see, door 1 is showing unlocked. I've got the status there to say I opened the door and I was granted by card. Door was unlocked, and then it locked again. Likewise, if I fob my hand across over the no touch button, as we can see there, I got the option then saying door button was pressed down, which is obviously the no touch button. It was unlocked. It then locked the door. It then released the door, and then you can see the next status saying it's then locked the door because it only does it for 5 seconds. If I do it for door 2, for example, now go to door 2, go onto there. Door 2 was showing was unlocked by me by card. It unlocked the door. Next one after 5 seconds, it's now locked the door. And again, same thing for the exit button. If I fold my hand across, we can see there it's showing door button. Door 2 was unlocked. Door button was pressed down, unlocked it, and then locked the door again afterwards. Also from here, from this software, if I go to door 1, I've got the option there to remotely unlock the door if I want to. Likewise, door 1, I can do the same thing. Unlock the door. I can even choose to actually have them to remain unlocked, and that will just stay unlocked there. You can see by that status. Once I want it to lock again, click onto there again, put it back to lock as well. So very simple, quick and easy system to actually use. You can see there, not overly complicated. As we go down, we can search for things that have happened. So we can look at the 2-door controller, see all the events that have occurred. So if I select all the events for, like, say, normal card swiping records for everybody, I'll search by card number, click on search, and I can see all the records that have come through. Click on the person there. As you can see, I can see all the details about the person that gained access through there. If I go to Access Control Application on the left-hand side, this is where we've got some of the advanced things that we can do here. Free access and forbidden access. So we can have the door to actually during a schedule to stay open or locked during a certain time, regardless if someone's got access privileges or not. First person in, as it says, it's going to set basically for the first person to actually set the door to open if we wanted to. Multi-factor authentication. So basically, you can have multiple cards or multiple people have to gain before a door can be opened. So you might have it where if it's a bank vault or something, not only one person can access it, it's got to be multiple people that fob their card or their credentials to actually open that particular door. Multi-door interlocking, that's for like your citadel areas where you've got to have like multiple doors. So the first door behind you has to get shut before you can then open the next one if you want to do that. Anti-passback. This has got to follow the rule of in, out, in, out, in, out. So someone fobs a card in, that same card can't be used to get in until it's been used to get out again already. Different authentication modes, if you want to use. So again, there's a 2-door controller there. It's saying that door 1 and door 2 is for card, as we can see there, quite straightforward. Apply advertisement, not relevant in our case what we're doing because we're not doing any picture advertisements or we're not doing any audio broadcasts either. Down here is where we've also got access schedules, which I mentioned you can create your own schedules to that one when they're authorized or not authorized. So again, fairly straightforward how to use this software. If we go to on the top, again, we're not using time and attendance or video intercom today. On the map, if you were to upload a map onto here, you would be able to place your door icons onto a map of your choice. So let me just see if I can get a map. So I've got a map here, so I just click on to add a map. To the area, that's my 2-door controller area, and I'm adding an e-mapping, so it just asks me to select one, so I click the little browse button there. If I just browse to where I may have this one, cop map there, that will do. Pop that in there, and that's the map I'm going to add in. Click on add, and that map now appears there. I'm just going to rename it from the word cop map, just the word cop. Click save. I could choose to calibrate the map size if I wanted to. It's not majorly important for what we're doing today. If you start putting cameras on there, and the norm one it is, but for just putting access control doors in there, it's not majorly important. What I can do now on this map here is if I go to resource on the right hand side, select my 2-door controller, click door 1, click drag, move it over. I can say right, door 1 is over there, and my door 2 is say over here. So I can then place that on the map, and we can just see that. As clear as anything. That does mean that when we do our map monitoring later, whatever happens to these doors, we can actually see on there what goes on. So let's take a look at that. So to get into map monitoring, we just go to the far top left-hand corner and click on map monitoring. So when we go into there, we can see our 2 doors there. Scroll and make it a little bit bigger because my 2 doors are in 2 different locations. Benefit from map monitoring, imagine I had a few more doors in there. Whenever I fob my fob on something, we can see who's gained access to what particular door, and the door was actually open. If I do door 2 now, as we'll see, again, I can see that person gained access through that door as well on there. Plus, when I actually fob my hand across it, you get the little lock symbol again next to the door itself and showing the status of the door. If I click on door 1 as an example, I can remotely unlock the door from here as well. And again, same principle as earlier, click on the door and see any details that may have happened on that one. So I can see the last person who gained access. I can look at the person's details, search for any other access records for that particular person, get the door to remain unlocked, remain locked, or just put it back to normal lock status. So again, you can do full control of the doors actually from a mapping system. So quite useful if you've got a floor plan of the office or wherever the system's going, and you can see what doors are actually happening. And again, whoever the operator is can use this system as well to see exactly where doors are and remotely open doors as well for that matter. So there we go, everyone. Hopefully you found that useful and just how straightforward and easy it is to wire up and configure a Hikvision Access Control multi-door controller. As always, don't forget the like button. Please do subscribe to the channel and don't forget to press that bell icon. That way you'll be alerted when we upload any new videos.